And I'm Patty. Today we're going to talk about what is important in life as far as
living a life that matters.
Yeah, what is it? What is living a life that matters? How would you define that?
Well, for me, it's doing unto others as you want them to do unto you and making life better for other people.
The golden rule, so to speak.
Plumper's rule. That's what my son said it was.
Really?
A long time ago.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh,
I
that's
think
cute.
they call it Plumper's rule.
Oh.
Yeah. So, living a life that matters. What does it mean? You were talking about theologians and different people like that come up with, they develop all these theories, or what would you call them?
Well, I guess,
they study it.
That's, I guess, what I mean when I refer to theologians and spiritualists and philosophers and such, is that they study it, they write about it, that's what their whole thing is about. What is the true meaning in life? What are we as humans? Are we supposed to be doing things for others? Is it all about service, or is it simply, is it all about you and your soul and expanding that to its fullest potential? And it just gets so convoluted,
Well, and we talk about life being an incredible buzz, doing things that you want, making life fun, making life exciting. But there's nothing wrong with including other people in making your trip exciting. Can also make other people's trip through life exciting.
Sure. I personally know people. One is my sister, who believes, it's her personal belief, that we are put here to be of service to each other, and that to have a fulfilling life and a life of substance is living your life in that way, where you're always helping others, you're concerned about others. Then I have other people that I know who believe certainly in helping others, but that you're here for your own personal growth and, as much as fulfillment, self-fulfillment as you can get out of life. So, I don't know the magic answer, but I do know for me personally, I struggle with, I want to feel like I'm contributing something of value. I don't want to end my time on this earth with, I really didn't do much of anything. I really didn't help other people.
Yeah, we talked about if, on your deathbed, are you going to, say, no, I should have made more money. I wish I spent more time at work. No, you're going to say, I wish I'd have done more for my family or my friends, or spent more time with other people.
Right.
And so that's more what it boils down to is not what you're going to say on your deathbed, but what is important to you.
Yeah, right. And I do think it makes life just so much more, it's so much more enriched when you have people in your life, you have love in your life, and because of that, you do things for the people you love, and you try to encourage them and help them to grow, and in return they help you, and I think that's, maybe it's just simple, the golden rule, as we were talking about.
And as we're talking about this, I'm thinking of the evil in the world. I'm thinking of the people that are only out for themselves, that kill people, that rob and plunder and rape, and you're wondering how that evil keeps going. It's like if more people would be good and honest and try to make life better. I always wonder, I've always said, I would rather be the person who talks to them. I don't even know how I want to say this. You've got that person that goes out and she kills a whole bunch of people in a school, and I think if that person had one person in their life who had a positive thought for them each day, or gave them did the pay it forward type thing to them, maybe all they needed was that one person, or somebody that committed suicide, maybe all they needed was that one person who did that one nice thing for them that might have made all the difference in the world. And you wonder about some of these other things that are happening in the world. Is there a way that might have helped them and made things better for them?
I think there's a lot of truth in that, because I have actually read of people who have said, dear stranger who helped me at the grocery store today, you have no idea, you did much more than you'll ever realize, because I was actually, started the day very depressed, and then one thing after another happened, and I was seriously depressed or even maybe even contemplating suicide.
And that
But
one
you
person,
took the time and you did this and that, and it really made me think a little bit. And I believe those things happen, and they probably happen often.
When I was first divorced, my son was 7 years old, and I really had no money. I mean, I was halfway through college, and I was trying to work several jobs and raise my kid, and do my college coursework and keep going, and just the one time my sister gave me a bag of clothes that her son had outgrown, and I'll tell you what, she doesn't know that I almost went home and cried. I was so excited because I was like, it meant the world to me.
Right.
It almost makes me cry now.
I know.
Because it's just sometimes that one little thing can really lighten a person's load,
right,
or make their life so much better.
Yeah. And it's a good reminder to try to be conscientious of that when you are in the store, or if you notice someone, who doesn't have quite enough cash to pay, they're ahead of you maybe in line, and to just say, please let me take care of that. Someone. I know a lot of times people have pride and they just, no, that's okay. Mm-hmm. Even if you say, please, someone recently did this for me and I really want to pay it forward, or just anything like that. But that can really make a difference in someone's life. You may not think so. What could $5 do, or what could, bringing over some clothing for your child do?
God,
but
it made all the difference in the world.
Mm-hmm.
It did.
Yeah.
And so just doing something nice for someone can make a big difference.
Right.
I love that pay it forward thing. And it's not necessarily just going through, the drive-through at one of the, one of the fast food places and pay for the person behind you, because that person behind you might not need the money, but it's still nice, but there's other ways.
Right.
I was in Chicago this last weekend for The Voice tryouts, and there were several people with signs sitting on the sidewalk with signs, so you don't know if they were really homeless people, because I didn't stop and read the signs because I was kind of nervous about being from a small town, and I've never gone through and handed out people money, but you always kind of wonder if they really need the money or not, or if they're scamming you. But I suppose giving a few bucks to a couple of people, even if they are scamming you, it might make the difference to somebody. It might be that one person that really did need the money for food.
My philosophy has always been, I would rather give somebody $5 or whatever and have been scammed than to not ever give anyone anything, because for maybe 2 or 3 people who scam me, if that one person I gave that money to gave them a meal or just really helped them, it was worth it. I did that one time when my son was very young, and in the same situation as you, going to school, trying to work a part-time job, didn't have any money, and there was a man standing out near the highway, and he had a sign, I'm really hungry. So we drove past him. And there was just something that just would not let me go about that man. I don't know what it was, but I just turned around the parking lot, went back to my house, and I put some things in the bag. I put a package of crackers, an unopened jar of peanut butter, a plastic knife, and like some, cakes and wrapped cakes and some things, anything I could find around the house. I made like a little bag of a little food for him.
You didn't have any more money than anybody else.
I didn't, and this is the honest to God truth. I had 35 cents on me, a quarter and a dime, and the reason I remember that is because near me was a supermarket, and it had some pop machines out in front, and it was 35 cents for a can of pop. And I remember thinking, wow, this is just enough to buy a can of pop. So I went there and I bought the can of pop, and anyway, I put all this in a bag, and I went back by this man, and I pulled up, and this is terrible. I was so freaked out. I didn't want to make eye contact with him. And when I had turned around and pulled back out of the parking lot this way, my son was next to him. So I told my son, roll the window down and hand him the bag. And my son, as he was handing the man this bag, I was just kind of looking straight ahead. I didn't want to look at this man. And then I just looked up at him at the very end, and he was like, and looking at me and looking in the bag, and I will never, ever forget the expression on that man's face. It was so heartfelt. It was so heartwarming. And then I just drove off, and I've never done that since. I see people like that, have many times since then, but I've never been compelled to stop or hand them money the way I have with helping that man for some reason. So I felt good about it, and I don't think you can go wrong helping someone. If you get scammed, you get scammed.
I just saw something on Facebook. I'm a big Facebook addict. But it was these three young men, probably in their 18 to 25 range, and the one boy put a sign in front of him and sat down kind of close to a homeless
I saw
man.
that.
Yes, alongside a
I was
homeless
crying.
man. Oh yeah, that's right, because you put that on there afterwards.
Oh.
But he sat down close to a homeless man, and everybody that walked by gave the boy money, but they refused to give the homeless because he was a homeless vet. And they didn't give him any money. And after how long, the homeless man got up, and somebody had very rudely dumped something on his head and
Two
and
people
told him,
humiliated
and one
him.
even slapped him or something and said,
Humiliated
go get a job. You're
They were-
grown up, go get a job. But they gave money to the kid thinking the kid, needed the money. But they were very rude to the homeless man. And a little while after I watched for a while, the homeless man got up, went and bought some food, probably with a little bit of money he had left, a piece of pizza or something, and he came over and he offered it to the kid. That's when I started crying too.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like, he offered the kid the money. Well, then the two other brothers came up and they said, we only did this because we wanted to collect some money for you, and they gave the guy all the money, and the guy cried. And
Yeah.
oh my God,
It was so touching.
Yeah, it was.
I was actually crying when you could see the
Yeah.
vet kind of crying a little,
Yeah.
kind of wiping a tear. I'm crying my eyes out when I'm watching this, and wow.
Well, and there's so many different ways. So living a life that matters. I was an EMT for 25 years, almost 25 years on a volunteer fire department, and there were so many times when you had someone. I ended up being more of a minister than an EMT sometimes, because we had one lady who was kicked in the face by a horse, and all the way in, I held her hand and I said, "Hang in there, hang in
Wow.
there." And years later, just when you start thinking that what you're doing doesn't matter,
Right.
her husband came up and said that he goes, "She always said that I was the voice of an angel." So there are
You just
times
don't
when
know.
you don't know what you're doing, how much what you're doing is affecting someone else.
And I guess,
So-
like what I meant with the story I had told before too, is I feel like I got more out of that than I'm sure he ever did.
But you didn't do it for that reason.
No.
See, that's the
but
thing. You're doing it to help someone, and it also helps you.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's a good thing all the way around for sure.
So anyway, we're saying live a life that matters, help people, little ways,
Any
big
little
ways,
thing
whatever.
could
Yeah,
make a huge
anything will
difference.
make a difference. And I guess we're getting emotional that we're out of time again. So I just want to remind you that life should be
An incredible buzz.